Hello students, welcome to this ethics class. Now we will be discussing 2020 question 8. So before watching this video, attempt this question on your own at least once. This is the first part of the question. This is the second part of the question. These are the questions that you need to answer. As an arms exporter of a responsible nation like India, what are the ethical issues involved in arms trade? So we need to identify the major ethical issues that are involved. First and foremost, you have to understand that arms are not regular goods and services. See, weapons are not just some goods and services. Because if we treat weapons like normal goods and services and start trading, there will be huge threat to peace and security around the world. You have to understand this. So if you are only interested in making money and you do not care about peace and security of people around the world, then you are only saying that materialism is the highest ideal, materialism triumphs values, only money matters, nothing else matters. And that is why these values are very important, like disarmament, non-violence, non-proliferation. So trading arms just for exports means that it is against non-proliferation, disarmament, it is against non-alignment, it is against our values of non-violence, it is against peaceful methods, it is against diplomatic processes. These are very essential in keeping peace and security around the world, but trading arms like that harms all these values which generally keep peace and security. And there are also other issues like politics, corruption, opacity, which generally occur in arms deals. Arms deals generally don't happen in a transparent way. We find all these elements which make it even more dangerous to export arms. So shouldn't arms be manufactured only as last resort and only to maintain peace after non-violent methods are exhausted and not for any other purpose? That is the question we finally get. So these are all the ethical issues that I have listed. If you can list any other ethical issues, you can list them. You can expand your answer. And next we move to the next subsection. List 5 ethical factors that would influence the decision to sell arms to foreign governments. So since there are many issues involved, we need to come up with certain ethical factors that make us a responsible arms exporter. For example, arms supply should only be for peace and security and only as last resort. Materialism should nowhere be in decision making. This is one of the most important factors. Then there should be transparent decision making that makes arms trade secure. If it is opaque and if there are politics, then arms can end up in wrong hands. And arms trade should be done only after sufficient public discourse. See, only central government shouldn't take decision on its own easily. There should be sufficient public discourse that provides justification for trade, that would provide people support for trade. For example, they provide proper analysis, criticism, safeguards, various arguments and philosophies. It would also double check whether we should export arms. So public discourse is very essential to have a public-led governance for public support for arms trade. And it is very essential to double check to know exactly whether we should export arms or not. So public discourse is very important before arms trade. And the arms trade should be based on objective decision making, based on global report, threat assessments and credible data. It should not be subjective, arbitrary or discretionary. And arms supply should be consistent with our values of non-violence, diplomacy, non-proliferation, etc. So it should be consistent with our values. So these are the major ethical issues we find. And these are some of the major ethical factors that are important that we need to check before we export arms. That is why UPSC has asked this question. So if we round, we would get somewhere around 169 words. Again, it is the quality of answers that is important, quantity does not matter. And this would also free up time for writing other quality answers. So that's it. Thank you.